Alright, time for a new project. What this is going to be an acorn with a lid on it. So that top of the acorn you'll be able to take on and off. And inside the acorn will be two little spaces that'll hold salt and pepper, and a little spoon that'll hold a teaspoonful of salt and pepper. So that's the plan. We've got to go and find something that we can use to make it. Alright, scratched around the shed, found a bit of Taraie. This is a piece of firewood. I don't know whether I'm going to get a piece out of it because it does have a fair bit of shakes and cracks through it. That's the pith, the centre there. It's got a big shake that way and some smaller ones, but I'm thinking the smaller ones only get into there. I'm after, what is it, 250. I should get that out of there. Yeah, we'll prep that up, change the blade in the bandsaw to a ripping blade, and we'll cut this up. Alright, this is a 4 teeth per inch, 4 teeth per inch, 10 mil, or 3/8. I take a series of cuts through the log, eliminating the faults in the timber as I cut pieces off, and then I gradually work my way into the best piece of the log while cutting out the main faults, and then hopefully we'll be left with enough wood for what we want. Alright, so that's it cut out. Did some lines in that. We've still got a bit of checking here. That check there, I think it goes to about that depth there, so, but you can see the checking's just on that corner there, so that should be alright. The other checking of course is this piece here and that here. Alright, but I don't think they go much deeper than where the acorn's going to be cut out, so I think we'll be alright for that. I quickly ran the block through the table saw just to knock the corners off. I find this helps the turning go a bit quicker without having a big square block in there. So I've turned the cylinder and you'll see here there's a bit of a fault coming up in the wood. I'm not quite sure what this is, but I'm hoping as I turn the acorn out of this block it'll get rid of that fault. First thing to do is I'm turning a shoulder here for the tail vise. This is how I'll hold the little acorn later on when I'm turning the rest of it. Perfect. Here I'm marking out the lid dimensions. This will be the piece on the top is the lid, going to be the Acorn lid, and then the piece on the bottom will be the Acorn itself. You can see here the fault's still in the piece. I'm getting a little bit worried that I may not be able to get this out, because as I turn it down, and the fault does seem to be getting worse. I'm not quite sure what's in here at the moment, but I'm still hopeful that I'll be able to turn it out when I turn the bottom base of the Acorn. So I'm currently turning the shoulder on the Acorn for the lid to go on. And now I'll turn the base down, and I'm hoping by doing this I'll be able to cut most of that fault out, whatever it is. So you can see here the fault is actually a knot where the tree's grown over a limb that's fallen off, but we've got most of the real bad stuff off, and I think the knot will add a bit of character. So that's pretty much the Acorn and the base done. So now after we've done this, we can turn our attention on the Acorn top, which we're working on now. I'll leave a tenon joint on the top of this so we can put it into the tail vise as well and turn it from the other end, which you'll see later.
Tomorrow 16, currently in the city we're on 15 degrees.
So that's pretty much the shape out. So I'll now run through the sanding process, which is just basically through the sandpaper grits, 120, 180, 240, 320, and then we'll pare it off.
About it and made sure that we got the win.
I watched the goals online.
So these are two parts cut off. Alright, so that's going to be the top of the Acorn, and that's the bottom base of the Acorn, as you can see. So what we want to do now is we want to fit this into the chuck and turn the middle out so it sits inside that slot there. Sneaking up on the fit here with the Acorn lid. I'll take a little bit off and then I'll check, and then if it's still a bit tight, I'll take another little fraction off and just gradually sneak up to the fit. Here I'm working on putting a double shoulder on the lid. so that the acorn part of the container will actually seat inside the rim of the lid. I think it looked better by doing this than have the lid sitting on the outside of the acorn. Nice, sitting inside the rim now. So I'll just sand that off, and that's the cap done. So the idea now is to take this off, put that into here. We might have to put a little bit of tape on the rim there just to jam them together, and then I can tidy up the top of the acorn. Using some super glue just to stabilise some cracks and little voids, which just make everything nice and tidy. Cool, nice and tight. Alright, sand that off. So that's the acorn base and the lid done. I'm marking out the lid here to do some carving into the top to give it a little bit more character and make it a little bit more like a cap of an acorn. No fancy tooling here, just some masking tape and the tool rest with a pencil. I wanted to carve in little hollows on each of these little sections to duplicate the dimples on the cap of the acorn. To start with, I just make a deep gorge through the middle, and then I'll take a wider chisel and I'll just hollow the outsides out. I basically just keep step and repeating this throughout the lid. First row done, on to the next row. The wood I'm using here for the stem is manuka. Once I cut out the basic shape of the acorn stem, the rest of it is just hand carved using a variation of knives and different carving tools to get the effect I wanted. Next job is to hollow out the sections for the salt and pepper. With the magic of editing, let's make a little spoon. I want to recess the base so the little spoon will sit inside the lid, so that when you take the lid off, the spoon's there to be used. When doing recesses like this, I like to cut a key line around the outside, and that gives me a nice definitive edge to work to. Keep refining the recess till I get the fit I'm looking for. For finish, I'm just using boiled linseed oil. I'll do 2 or 3 coats of this, and then on the outside I'll give it a coat of wax as well. So that's the little acorn salt and pepper holder finished. Come out really good. Quite happy with how that's come out. I really like the little spoon and the little cavity that it sits in. So, you know, theoretically you've got a salt and a pepper in there, and then your little spoon, so it's on your bench and you're cooking away, and a little bit of salt and a little bit of pepper, and the job's done. And then you can put it all away, and then it sits nicely on the bench while you cook. So yeah, no, it's nice. A lovely piece of Taraie. Quite a few challenges in it to get it out and get it to where I want it, but in the end I think it's come up really good. So really functionable, and I think it'd look nice on the bench, and I think it's going to be a lovely gift for my mother for her 80th birthday. So happy birthday, Mum. Yeah, remember, if you've got any questions about how I built it, or the process I did in building it, or any ideas of what you would do different, how would you approach it and make one of these things, yeah, but apart from that, I appreciate you getting this far in the video and watching to the end. On to the next project.